So Valentin, can you tell us a little bit more about your organization and what it is that you do?
Sure. So hello, everyone. I'm Valentin Fournel, so the director for eco-design at CITEO. CITEO, we are the company in charge of managing the whole system for the end of life of packaging in France. I precise household packaging. In the team, the eco-design team, what we are working on is really developing the knowledge around the impact of packaging on the end of life and more globally on the environment. Okay? And then we are trying to really make recommendations to companies putting packaged goods on the market to help them make the best choices.
Oh, fantastic. Marion, can you tell us a little bit more about what it is that your organization does?
Yes, hello, Marion Vincent, Innovation Product Manager in Lactips. So Lactips is an industrial startup founded 5 years ago, and we produce a plastic-free plastic. So basically, it's a material which looks like a plastic and is convertible with all the process of the plastic industry, but which is made of 100% of renewable resource and is fully biodegradable. Since 2 years, we are closely working with CITEO on developments for the food packaging industry because the material provides a high barrier protection for the food and is fully sustainable and will allow to improve the recyclability of flexible packaging.
That's incredible. So plastic-free plastic.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Kari, beat that. So do you mind telling us a little bit more about Paptic and what it is that you do?
With pleasure. Thank you, first of all, for being here. It's been a big honor for a young startup company to participate in this event among the big groups and opinion leaders. So Paptic is a young startup company which was born in Finland some 5 years ago, created by 3 persons who were in research institute. And then when they started to see what the plastic, how the plastic in the oceans and in the environment will eventually change our way of living, they started to develop new solutions for packaging. And today I'm very proud to be among this team, which has now developed 2 different product families, which we already commercialize and produce in industrial manner. In addition to that, the big thing behind Paptic is the patented production technology for new type of packaging material, and that's yet to come to see.
Okay, you both got stands here, right? Have you you've got one that so people can come and have a look at?
Please do. So our stand is in the Eco Pack area, just between us and the main entrance. So we are here all 3 days.
Fabulous. We've been talking a lot this weekend about various different new materials. Why do we think that new materials are important for a circular economy?
I'll start.
Please do. I mean, you deal with it at the end of the cycle, so you should definitely have an insight.
So actually, I think today we are facing major environmental issues on which packaging have an impact. For example, CO2 emissions, of course, resource depletion, as well as leakage in nature and its impact on biodiversity. Currently, we are working on solutions to avoid or to lower as much as possible the impact of packaging on those different challenges. So we are working, of course, to try to go towards 100% of sorting of the packaging, to be sure that we can recover all the packaging on the market. We are working on new recycling technologies, also to develop the recycling streams. Working, of course, to reduce packaging as much as possible without any impact on product waste. And we are also working on reusability of packaging. And one other way to tackle these different issues is, of course, to work also on the origin of the material. And so new materials or a new way of producing existing materials.
Okay, so the better quality or if the origin of the material is easily recyclable, then that makes your life easier.
So definitely, but we know that probably somewhere else we will find new materials that can have a great impact on what we are trying to achieve. And so that's the idea, that's why we're all here. I believe we need to find today all the solutions that are out there or that are not yet out there, and to be sure that we find the best applications where it can bring the most to those materials.
So Marion and Kari, you've both developed new materials. What's your perspective on why they're required? Because you've clearly developed them to come through. Why do you think we need different materials? Why do we need a plastic that's not plastic and different types of papers?
I think that we need the kind of plastic we produce because we need to solve the environmental issue with the existing plastic, and in the same time we need to support the transition of the plastic industry toward a more sustainable activity, because the plastic industry is also really active industry. So it will have a huge social impact if we just say that we don't want any plastic anymore. And I think that there is a lot of alternatives in the field of bioplastic, which will provide a solution also for them to change for a more sustainable activity.
So it's bringing sustainability to a product that we can't really live without now. It's so integrated in what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
Kari, what do you think?
Yes, I feel very strongly that the age of, let's say, using fossil materials, so that starts to be over in many areas. But please, let's remember that plastic is also an excellent material for several applications. So by no means we are against the plastics. Plastics enable us deliver fresh food in good conditions, and there are many other applications where plastics has outstanding properties, and new companies are developing new solutions. So that's it. But the key is to use, if you have a possibility to use renewable raw materials, such as wood fiber, for instance. Today in France, as well as in Finland, there is more wood in the forests to be exploited than any time before us. So well-managed forests grow very fast and give, of course, fibers for the circulation and recycling streams.
So speaking of recycling streams, how important is it to consider the end of life of these new products at the beginning of life of these new products?
It's definitely key.
How did I know you were going to say that?
So we have no choice today than when we develop a new type of material, new type of packaging, to think about the end of life. We know that knowing what will be the impact at the end is, of course, now really, really important. And so that's why I think it's key that we all together work from the start in identifying all these different aspects, understanding what are the applications and where will it finish at the end.
And presumably when there are new materials coming in, does that have an impact then if there hasn't been a collaboration on how you reuse them?
Of course, it's always the problem, because recycling is an industry. It works because it is profitable. So it means that we have to have high volumes, big quantities of specific materials to be able to recycle it. So if we find, for example, a new material that will be the future because its impact on the environment from its origin is much lower, then we need to develop also the recycling stream going with it. Because we believe, once we talked about reduction and reuse, that for all the other types of packaging, we need to recycle them to be able not to lose the material and recover the material for a new use, so that we do not extract new virgin material. So it's really key to always develop recycling and think about it from the start.
So to develop with the recycling in mind. Kari, is this what you guys did?
Of course we did, but
I knew this was
in
happening.
our material there is much else than that. Just to show you an example is this Paptic bag. I personally use this bag for my grocery shopping, and this bag has been manufactured in Germany with the automatic bag machine. And in Germany they have a habit to give guarantees for the bags, how many kilos the bag can bear. And can you guess what is the maximum weight that the German manufacturer gives to this bag, which looks like a paper bag, but it's a Paptic bag? The answer is 32 kilos. That's quite a lot. I use this bag tens of times for my grocery shopping because it's very practical. You can also fold it, put it in your pocket or in your purse and reuse it all over again. And once it gets dirty, you can wipe it with the cloth, or then you just leave it to the recycling stream together with your other paper and board products.
So it gets recycled just like paper and cardboard in exactly the same sort of way. So it was deliberately designed to go through existing recycling channels.
Absolutely, yes.
Oh, fantastic. Marion, in terms of Lactic, how did you guys think about the end of life of the product when you were designing it?
Well, it may be a bit more difficult for us because our material has specificity. It's water soluble. It means that when you put it in water, it will disappear, and it's fully biodegradable. So what we do exactly is that till the beginning we are working on the understanding the end-of-life of our material, and what we do with CITEO is seeing how this property can help the recyclability of other material. Because the problem today for the flexible food packaging is that they create multi-layers with different polymer, and they are not able to sort them, and we need to sort them to be able to recycle them. So what we do is that we want to use our material to provide better barrier and to be sure that it will disappear during the process of recyclability in the water and allow the separation of the other polymer. So it's the end of life is a bit difficult, and that's why we are closely working with CITEO, because we need to understand the whole chain of and the whole actors and needs of the recyclability.
And when you're thinking of recyclability, you've got two groups of people really. It depends on whether you're a corporate, something going directly to organizations, a B2B product, or a B2C product, and making sure that the process an individual has to go through is easily attainable and easy for them to be able to navigate their way through. Philippe, I'm mixing my names up now. My goodness. So Valentin, how do you work with organizations who are coming up with new products? Is there a process that you have open and available for companies who've got new solutions and they're wanting to bring them into the recycling stream?
Yeah, so what we want to be at CITEO is really this place when everyone meets and discuss and talk about all their challenges, what they are creating, all the new technologies, new solutions, and be able to be sure that everyone is aligned on the best application. When Lactips, for example, is developing its product, it's very interesting to say, okay, actually it has a great barrier propriety. So can we actually maybe put them in contact with someone else from the ecosystem that will know, oh, I can use this material maybe for this usage. And then all those new materials can lower the impact then on the rest of the chain. And so yes, CITEO is kind of this place where we are talking to recyclers, to municipalities, to the government, of course, to startups, to packaged good producers, and so on and so on. And we need to have these discussions to advance all together.
And in terms of new countries and stuff that you go to, so it's well and good saying we're going to have these new materials that are much more recyclable, they're better for the environment, but that requires that there's recyclable areas for people to actually be able to access it. With Paptic, Kari, did you work closely with any recycling organizations? And I know you're not in France per se, but did you work closely with those organizations responsible for end of life? And did that affect how you went to market?
Yes, indeed. So first of all, worldwide, paper and board products are quite well recycled. So talking about recycling rates varying in Europe, varying between 60 and 80%, which is amazingly high. There are quite a few, not so many other packaging materials that have such high rates. So in that sense, the recycling stream is working in all markets. When we go to new markets, of course, we do testing. We have our partners here in France. Finland is a leading research center for not only fiber usage but also recycling. In Germany, PTS is an institute where we have intensive collaboration and their certificates. In North America, on university level, we have collaboration that we have ensured the recyclability of our material. So whenever we go to new markets, so of course, recyclability is not an option for us. It is a must.
And do you think that was important, Marion, for you to think full end-to-end and who do I collaborate with in order to make sure that this thing that we're creating for the better good, the process of creating, well, it's effective, it's profitable, and we have that end of life. How important have you found those collaborations with third-party organizations to support in making sure that you can see the full vision through rather than having it just being a product business?
I think it's most important thing because we are a raw material producer. We have an expertise in polymer production, scientific expertise, but we don't really know the market of packaging, and we don't know the market of recyclability, and we don't really know what are the expectations of the brand owners, of the consumer on this market. It's not our expertise. So I think it's also really important to create a collaboration to be sure that we will enjoy the expertise of all the actors in the value chain. Because, I mean, you have all the information I'm looking for concerning the expectation of the recyclability. So I have to work with you if I want to be sure that I'm going on the good way. And because also I think we all have the same problem. We are a young company, so we need to go fast. And I think everyone here needs to go fast on those questions because it's a huge environmental issue. So we cannot afford to lose time and see, oh, maybe I will try this way or after this way. So we need to work with the better one to be sure that we go quickly on the good solution.
Kari, you had something to add there?
Yes, I just wanted to add that even though we are a young company, 5 years old, so the first 4 years of existence in our company we spent in R&D work. We have our own pilot machine in Finland, in where our offices are located, and R&D work is really the foundation of our company. So during those 4 years, we have done extensive research in multiple aspects, and of course, this recyclability has been the cornerstone for that development, and that has permitted us to have our first product family, which is this Paptic Tringa. What you can see here. We are soon launching a second product family to really replace plastics in product packaging areas, which is totally different than this business, which is retail located. So I believe and I hope that in the coming years, when we all go to our local supermarkets and we see there quite a lot of plastic today in products which doesn't necessarily need plastics. So we will see that on Paptic material.
Valentin, how else do you guys, because I think that people think, oh, CITEO, it's recycling, right? It's the end of life, it's that recycling component. But you've alluded today to a lot of things that you do with organizations to support that process. Can you share a bit more about what those are?
No, of course, we're not about recycling only. It's about the end of life and more globally the impact of packaging on the environment. And I think what's changed now is about, and what we are trying to achieve as well through our program Circular Challenge, for example, is really to be able to scout all the innovative solutions that will have a better impact on the environment, to be able to experiment with all the startups that we will identify. We have identified more than 1,000 in France and internationally, and to make them experiments also with producers of packaged goods. What we've done with Lactips, what we're doing also with Paptic, is trying to put really everyone around the table on all these aspects. We are also working on reuse as well. Of course, it's a key stake now. Can we reuse more packaging? Can we develop those new value chain for packaging? So no, we're not only about recycling, but trying to see the problematic more globally.
And if there's people in the audience who thought, ooh, my idea could do with a little bit of a, bit of a boost and some more of that collaboration that it looks like is going on up there, is there a particular link they could go to?
They can call me.
Just call them. You heard it here first, just call them. What is your big vision for the circular economy in relation to new materials? Kari, I'll start with you. It's my last question. 5 years' time, what's your big vision of where you'd like to be?
Where our Paptic business has just started. So last year was our first year of industrial and commercial activity related with the Paptic Tringa products. Soon we will have other type of second family, product family for Paptic Gavia. But that's only the beginning. We also have the Paptic technology. We have a patented technology to produce new type of packaging materials which can be produced with much less energy and much less water than currently the paper and board industry is using. So our vision and our mission will be to license our technology, find a industrial partner with heavy shoulders, because that requires, let's say, 100 million euro investment on the production machinery to make it happen. We have this technology already in use in our pilot machine in Finland, and by commercializing our Paptic Tringa and Paptic Gavia products, we will show the market that there is a need, and there is definitely a sustainability initiative to go forward with this vision.
Fantastic. Marion, what's your 5-year vision? What's your big vision for the circular economy?
My big vision for circular economy, I think that we, collectively, we need to change our way of thinking concerning circular economy. I think that we need to understand that there is some products that will stay ephemeral because it's related to the use, it's related to security sometimes. And I think that our role is to be sure that all those ephemeral material will have a clean end of life. Either it's biodegradable or recyclable. We need to be sure that we take the control on that. And that's what we want to do in Lactips, and that this is all the topic we are covering, all the ephemeral use of plastic. It may be weird today to say that, because all the time we heard that we should stop using plastic and reuse, but we are taking the other way, because there is some application where we need to have ephemeral use. And our long-term vision for the 5 years is to be sure that all the material used for short-term will fulfill what we expect.
Fantastic. Valentin, can you tell me what's your big vision?
Big vision, it's hard to know, but what we would like to be able to achieve is to be sure that all the packaging that are put on the market could be reusable. When they are not reused, they are actually recyclable, and so can be recycled. And if by any chance someone, of course, not on purpose, just leave it in nature, that it can just biodegrade in any environment. And of course, this packaging is made from renewable resources that are sustainably managed. So that's a big list.
Not a small vision. You definitely went big. Thank you all very much for your time. Please give a warm round of applause for Valentin, Marion, and Karin. Thank you.